For someone who really doesn't enjoy speaking in front of large groups of people, this online graduation setup is pretty much the ideal situation for me. Of course, the weird part is they always tell you to envision people in their underwear, and in this instance, some of you probably are, so cheers to that. I don't know most of you, and most of you probably don't know me, and that's okay, because I think we have a lot more in common than you may realize. My name is Ryan Miller, and I just finished my MBA after an eternity here at Johns Hopkins. And when I started this program, my wife Kristen and I only had one son, Deacon. Now we have a second son, Bishop. I had actually just finished up a different graduate program 2 years prior when I extremely cautiously approached my wife to suggest that I'd like to spend tens of thousands of dollars and several hundred sleepless nights torturing her with a new degree. And while that went over about as well as you'd expect, I wasn't really sure what degree I wanted to pursue. So when I'm not studying at night, I do environmental work. My undergraduate is in environmental science, and my master's is in energy law and policy. And if I were going to go back, I knew that I wanted to acquire a skill set that I don't have, but one that I would use every day, something that would make me more versatile and really help me grow. And I landed on an MBA, probably because I know less about business than anyone, which meant that I had the most to learn. And once that part was settled, now I needed to figure out where to go. And to figure out my criteria for choosing a school, I actually came up with the world's shortest list. Which school would be the hardest? Like I said, I don't have a bachelor's in business, and I actually wanted to learn this stuff. If I just wanted to get some extra initials on my business card after my name, I had plenty of other options. We all did, and they probably would have been a lot cheaper and easier than coming to Johns Hopkins. But that's not what any of us chose. That's not the sort of people we are we? I looked at the program and said, 27 classes? Oh, and they'll let me get 2 concentrations. Game on. I know you all did something similar when you picked out your courses here at Cary. And we each chose the harder path, where we would learn from the best and learn with the best. So fast forward, it was my first fall here. Classes had finally started. Kristen had successfully internalized the rage she felt towards me and my new hobby. And I have my first residency 4 weeks in. And we've always taken our boys everywhere, though we just had one 3-year-old at that time. We decided we should all travel up from Virginia to my residency. And while I'm in class all day, they were going to do the aquarium and Camden Yards and the Science Museum. Apparently there's a great Elmo exhibit. It was going to be a fantastic time. So we packed up in our little Honda and headed off to Baltimore. And we get maybe a mile from the house. And that's when a guy in an SUV never looked up from his phone before plowing through us like a freight train at full speed. Kristen was able to crawl out the passenger window over a Jersey barrier, and then I could pass her a screaming son and crawl out myself. We were all bruised and bleeding, shaken, but we made it out. So we went straight back to the house, repacked, and headed up to Hopkins. We're tough like that. Some of you are probably thinking it seems crazy to get right back on the road after something pretty traumatic. But when I say we're tough, I don't just mean my family. I'm talking about every single one of you too. Intelligence is important, don't get me wrong, but everybody who gets into grad school is smart, and that's not what really matters. You see, I've had the unique experience of taking all types of classes. I've taken online and in person, nights in DC, nights in Baltimore, MS students, MBA students, it's been the full gamut. And through that lens, I've seen the most incredible strength in you everywhere I've been. I saw a classmate spend his weekdays at work with his family and his weeknights doing schoolwork. Also, he could spend the weekends training in the reserves. I've seen people lose their jobs and their houses, and I've watched Chinese-speaking students fight through 3-hour rapid-fire lectures chock full of nonsensical American sayings, and I've watched West Coast students forced to rearrange their work schedule because sync sessions are all on East Coast time. I've seen people living in different cities from their spouses. I know someone who's given birth twice since she started this program, and she's still pushing through. So why are we all doing this to ourselves? I certainly hope it wasn't for the pomp and circumstance of a fancy graduation ceremony that's not going to happen. No, it's because we recognize the value in surrounding ourselves with the best people in the best places. Because that's what we've done here. We've gathered a group of doctors and lawyers, realtors, scientists, data analysts, teachers, and anything else you can think of. And we've come together at one of the best universities anywhere in the world, and we've spent a few years of our lives challenging each other on every subject we could. And does anybody know what comes next? I actually have no idea. But I do know that this graduating class is walking out these metaphorical auditorium doors with 3 things. 1, a top-notch skill set from a top-tier university that will enable you to tackle any type of challenge waiting for you out there. 2, the determination to have completed a program like this, meaning you're willing to go above and beyond what most others wouldn't dare. And 3, a lot of extra free time on your hands. You're now amongst the strongest and most capable people that this workforce has ever seen, and you're now poised to build a better, smarter world. And I can't wait to see it happen. More importantly, there are people out there who also can't wait to see it happen. These are the people who we've surrounded ourselves with in our personal and professional lives. They've supported us when we needed it and pushed us when we couldn't push ourselves. It was all for this moment when you reached this milestone today. So go hug them, or as medical professionals would prefer, wave to them from a public health appropriate distance, but tell them that you love them and that you appreciate everything they've done to make you the absolutely unstoppable people that you are today. And congratulations for everything you've done and everything you're about to do.